Ladies and gentlemen, rebuild, 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 rebuild. All right, so the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs today, and the Kansas City Chiefs just racked up their 10th consecutive win against the Denver Broncos. Everybody, let's start hitting that panic button right now. And, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't came to the conclusion that we have to do something different, not only as a team, but as an organization, you are kidding yourself. You are not being realistic with the projection that the Denver Broncos are going. Okay. We have some good pieces and we have some bright side looking up for the Denver Broncos, but damn it, we're just not putting it together at all. Again, I've said this multiple times. We cannot win and we cannot beat anybody if you only average 17 points a game. Denver Broncos got beat today 43-16. How in the hell you think you're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs only scoring 16 points? And remind you, some of that was a garbage time touchdown. Okay, so again, let's talk rebuild. Okay, let's be honest, but let's be constructive and let's talk rebuild. Mike, what you got?
So if you guys follow us on Twitter, I'd say we were pretty composed today. Luckily, neither one of us was around Twitter for the immediate impact of the game. Otherwise, our tweets would have been probably a little bit more off-putting. But we did mention the fact that the Broncos still have yet to draft in the entire franchise history a franchise quarterback. We pretty much guaranteed that today. Or we continued that. Drew Lock is not a franchise quarterback. It's unfortunate. When we came through for the preseason predictions, we said that this season was going to be solely predicated on whether or not Drew Lock was a franchise quarterback. We said that it was either going to be he was an MVP candidate given the talent around him, or he was going to be a major bust and we were going to be back in the draft pool next year for another QB. I think it's safe to say at this point in time, the guy he's had, 10 NFL starts now? He's had one 300-yard game. And it wasn't a deep 300-yard game. It was 303 yards. So I'm not impressed with the guy. I don't think he's the one to lift the team up to the promised land. Judging by the fact that he can't really step up against the good teams. He just does okay against the teams that they should beat. We're going to be redrafted next year for a new QB.
Okay. So me and Mike, we talked about this before we went on. Me and Mike don't see this eye to eye. I'm on the flip side of this. I do think Drew Lock is a good quarterback. Okay. I did like a lot of things I've seen from Drew Lock today and last game. I like the fact that Drew Lock is airing the ball out. Okay. You know what he has. He's a gunslinger. He has one of the strongest arms in the NFL, and they're letting him sling the rock. Everybody, if you can remember, okay, let's think about the Trevor Siemian, okay? Let's think about the Brock Osweiler, the Case Keenums, and your Joe Flacco's. When they was doing this little bullshit dink and dunk passes, and when they went throwing the ball past 10 yards, everybody was up in an uproar because they wasn't taking shots downfield. But now you have a quarterback that's able to take shots downfield, and they're letting him do that. Personally, I don't care if he throws the interceptions. At least he's attempting to throw the rock downfield. So, hey, it is what it is. Personally, the timing is completely off, okay? I've watched him overthrow receivers. I watched him throw behind receivers. Running backs, okay? I played running back in college. A quarterback, you have to hit a running back in a certain area. When you throw the ball too high for a running back and they have to jump and catch it, 9 times out of 10, it just doesn't work out well for him. And I watched him do that.
He should know by now, dude. That should be a gimme play.
I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, Drew Lock played
that's a layup.
Not even half of last year, right? I mean, how many games did he play last season?
He started.
5. How many games have he played this season?
He
Not a
started
lie.
at Mizzou for 4 years, man.
Yeah,
How
don't
can you
disagree
not
with that.
how can you not hit a wheel route, bro?
With that. I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, there is promise with that kid. He just has to clean it up. Let me give you an example. Okay, look at the Bills. Look at the Bills. That guy's first couple of seasons, everybody said he was a bust, 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 bust. And now he's putting it together. And I think, and I believe, in my heart of hearts, I think July can do the same. So I'm in the opinion of you have a quarterback, you have pieces around him. It's going to take time to build it to where everything is clicking and firing on all cylinders. It's unfortunately right now it's just not happening. He had the relationship with Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton is out for the season, pretty much. Okay, so you got Jerry Jeudy. Okay, it's going okay. Noah Fant, my gosh, people, I'm getting sick and tired of seeing you don't throw one pass to Noah Fant all damn game, but then you want to try to hit him in, late in the fourth quarter to try to help catch you up. And remind you, he was hurt. He wasn't even 100% today. And you still wait until the fourth quarter to even get the dude involved in the game.
Whose fault is that? Inevitably, at the end of the day, whose the hell it is, dude? There's 5 receivers out. There's 5 receivers out there, man. You got plenty of options. How the fuck you throwing interceptions and throwing 250-yard games when you've got Jerry Jeudy out there? You got Tim Patrick. You got Noah Fant. You got Albert O. You've got Philip Lindsay, who's not the greatest ball catcher, but he's still halfway decent. Melvin Gordon, they keep putting the ball in his hands because they don't trust Drew Lock to put the ball in the receiver's hands because they either draw. Oh, and Hamler. What a nightmare that guy's turned out to be, which we already forecasted that. But
right,
dude, there's no excuse at this point in time. I mean, a third-string quarterback came in and utilized all of those people to their fullest abilities with one game against the Jets. He beat them up. A guy that didn't even exist on a roster last year.
Yeah, but just like you said, against the Jets.
But he still had 300-some-odd yards. Drew Lock can't even do that.
I mean, so are we really going off yardage? I mean, okay, yes, that is only one piece of the puzzle.
They didn't even score a touchdown last week. Dude, I mean, they didn't even score a touchdown last week against a team that just got 33 points put up on them. Like, I mean,
yeah, and
it's embarrassing.
I do agree with that.
They can't drive the field. They can't do shit.
The play calling was rocky at best. When, again, you're down 24-9 and you threw a flea flicker. He handed off to Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I saw that.
Turned around and threw it back to him and threw it over his head. Again, you can't do that type of shit to the Chiefs of all teams. You cannot do that bullshit like that with the Chiefs. So again, to me, it is not all on Drew Lock. I think a little bit of it was the play calling. And I'm going to flag. To me, it is not the offense. It is the defense.
You're nuts, dude. You're nuts.
Bullshit.
You're out of your mind, bro.
Bro,
no way. You're out of your mind.
Check this out. In the first quarter, Denver scored. Kansas City only had 10 points. In the second quarter, KC put up 14 points, right? Your defense should be able to hold the team. Even if you're doing 3 and outs, your defense should be at least to hold them 2 quarters. They put up 4. Dude, yes, they should be able to.
Pat Mahomes offense. That's a Pat Mahomes offense, dude.
Bro,
get out of here.
I don't give a damn what offense it is, bro. I don't give a damn what offense. Because you don't have the horses on defense to run with anybody.
Dude, not when you can't. Dude, they went 3 and out twice. The defense got them to 6 points. What are you talking about? They got a turnover within 10 yards of the end zone. Like, it wasn't the offense that did that.
They still scored, though. The offense scored.
Congrats on getting 6 yards for the first time in 6 quarters. I'm impressed.
Dude, we're not that good in the red zone.
What was that? That was their first down.
Denver is not good in the red zone.
What? That's because of the offense. That's not the defense's fault.
Dude,
you got to give them a chance to rest, bro. That's why they just said, fuck this. That defense is just going to flat out quit halfway through the year, dude. Or, well, I guess not halfway. I'll give it 2 more games. They're going to flat out quit, bro. They're going to, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not getting paid enough. They're going to start doing the exact same shit that they did last season, and I don't blame them one bit. Oh, I'm injured. My wrist hurts. I'm going to go sit out now because fuck all this. The offense ain't doing
Bryce
shit.
Callahan, Josie Jewell, Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson. I mean, dude, where are these guys at on defense?
They're still
Where are
playing
these guys at?
They're playing what out of a 60-minute game, dude? They're playing almost 35 to 40 of it because the offense can't do squat.
Mike, this is what I'm saying, bro. Listen, so yes, the offense may not be up to snuff, right? But again, so you mean to tell me after the second half, the defense like, all right, man, fuck it, I'm done, I'm quitting.
No,
I don't care how many 3-and-outs you have, but again, you mean to tell me that you can't? I mean, at least a half of football, at least a half of football. Even if the offense isn't putting up the points that they should be putting up, they should be running with them.
They kept Pat Mahomes to 200 yards and 1 touchdown today, dude. Drew Lock had 2 interceptions and no touchdowns. He had 1 rushing touchdown finally. He was 3 for 8, carried the ball 3 times, had 8 yards. The dude's immobile. He's a waste. The guy stinks, all right? He can't run the football. He can't throw the football at this point because he can't hit a receiver, have him catch it. He can't do anything.
Why the fuck are we having him? Okay, he's not mobile. Do we care that Drew Lock is not mobile? When has Drew Lock ever been a mobile quarterback? When has he ever been a mobile quarterback?
He was at least able to run for 15-plus yards at Mizzou, dude. He won't do squat here.
Dude, that's against Mizzou. Again, Drew Lock isn't I'm a takeoff running quarterback.
I'm not expecting the guy to have an 80-yard run, but he doesn't even run for first downs.
I don't care that Drew Lock is not mobile.
Well, I wouldn't care, but so you're sitting there saying you don't care that he's not mobile, but at the same time, you give a shit about his yardage not mattering. If he's not running, he's got to do something with the football. So at that point, if he's not running the football, he's got to throw it. And he ain't throwing for shit. He stinks. His yardage is crap.
So let me ask you this. Would you rather have the old days of Trevor Siemian or would you have now with Drew Lock? Which one would you rather have?
I'd rather accept the fact that this season's an L, dude. It's a fucking L. Today,
I agree. The season is an L, but again,
you're talking about not even replacing the guy. Like, I'm telling you, the guys – that you look at it, dude. He's not doing anything against Tennessee.
Okay, so who you gonna replace him with, Mike? So who you gonna replace him with?
Well, that's
if the Broncos are incapable of drafting the quarterback. So you're going to trust John Elway to go back to the well and draft again?
So that's where we're getting into the rebuild process because I think.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
So let's get back on the I Love David and Mike train. Obviously, guys, see, we even have our moments where we disagree on shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So one thing I think we can both agree on is that keyword you just said, Elway.
Well, hold on. I think it goes a step above that. Okay, I think it goes a step above that. Let's start at the top of the top of the top. Sell the fucking team.
Boom! Or,
Sell the fucking team.
One or the other.
That's the only. That's the only
fuck
option.
Out of there, dude. Tired of that.
That's the only option. I'm getting sick and tired of our team being tied up in litigation,
Correct.
because whatever side of the Bolin family, whether if it's a brother, ex-wife, is a cokehead son or something like that, is arguing and fighting and going to court or whatever. And then you have Joe Ellis that's basically standing in the way of any kind of progress. And then nobody's keeping John Elway in check. Nobody's keeping John Elway in check. Again, I say this again. I am not impressed by, outside of Melvin Gordon, I'm not impressed with anybody that he brought in this past offseason.
You're impressed with Melvin Gordon?
He's the only one that's doing something. I mean, dude, out of our offense, at least he fucking scores.
No, I didn't say that he was a bad addition. I'm just saying, like, that's the only one that you're all right with.
Well, not impressed. Like, oh, my gosh, he's setting the NFL on fire. But, I mean, out of all the people that he brought in, he's the only one that's fucking doing something.
Yeah, fair enough.
But, again, Glasgow, don't care. Jarrell Casey, He's not even playing. He's out for the season.
He
I
tapped.
mean, who else? AJ Bouye. AJ Bouye. What are we doing here? Bryce
Was
Callahan.
he playing today? Was he even playing?
Yeah, he played today. Yeah, he played today. Well, he actually, he did play today. Again, Bryce Callahan. Anybody heard anything from Bryce Callahan?
Yeah, so Callahan's been fine. Callahan's been playing good football. Bouye was okay, but I mean, whatever. Draymond Jones, he's doing great. Look, I got to give props to Ojemudia. I still think that guy.
Absolutely.
I think, in my opinion, at this point in time, this current point in time in the season, all right, this is week 7. He's the best rookie we have.
I don't disagree. He is absolutely our best rookie.
That tops Kush. Kush has played good. Not great. He's played good.
I mean, he has his faults.
Jerry Jeudy can only catch a football when it's not thrown from Drew Lock. So he's been kind of a miss in that regard. A couple of them. Albert O, he didn't even get on the field until last week. Hamler's been an absolute miss. Yeah,
and
so
hurt. And all our rookies are hurt.
Yeah, and then or not starting caliber. So Agim can't get into the game. So yeah. So basically, Ojemudia, which I'm not gonna lie, I think he's playing like all rookie team esque. But yeah, as for the rest of it, like you said, free agency wise and the draft, haven't been doing great, dude. We've been really been struggling.
We've really been struggling. And again, this right here stems from John Elway waiting to the 8th tier of free agency to pick up people and not going out the blue chip first tier, second tier guys. I mean, he waits all the way until, I'm gonna pass on the 2 best people that's available on the market, and yeah, we'll settle for the 5th best guy.
Who are you referring to?
Okay, so we skipped on old boy from the Texans, the big run stuffer guy, the guy that was the nose tackle. We skipped on him, and we went for
the one that went to
Casey.
Cincinnati.
Did he go to Cincinnati, or did he go to the Colts? I can't remember which one guy went.
Talking about that D tackle, right?
Yeah, the D tackle from the Texans.
Yeah, he went to Cincy.
Yeah, he went to Cincy, and we skipped on him, and we went for Jarrell Casey. Okay, the cornerback from Dallas, skipped on him, went for AJ Bouye.
Yeah, but Xavier Howard hasn't really been having a great season either.
No, so not Xavier Howard. Byron Jones.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Jones.
Jones.
Yeah, Sorry, I got those 2 mixed up. So, yeah, but Jones hasn't – I mean, Jones has pretty much been a meth factor. So, I mean, that wasn't really too big of a miss there. But, yeah, I get your point, though. I do. I mean, so here's why Elway did what he did this year. Any of our fans that are hockey fans have been following us with Colorado, you know how gangbuster Joe Sakic has been right now with building the Avalanche roster, and that's all he's been doing, dude. He's been playing the trade game instead of the free agency game. So he's like, all right, well, I've got salary cap space, so I'll trade you this guy for some scrub shit just to take the salary cap off you. So Elway was paying attention to that, started doing that this year, which is why he grabbed Casey and grabbed Bouye. So I get his thought process in that. Unfortunately, with Casey looked okay for a couple of weeks till he got injured there. Bouye hasn't been bad. He's just been kind of injured too. But here's the deal about it, man. The team just stinks. Like the defense is fantastic, but as a whole, look, dude, it's one with
the defense is not fantastic. Our D line is good. I give you that.
Our D-line is good. Our linebacking cores. Well, I mean, dude, we've got one weak spot at inside linebacker, but because Alexander Johnson, dude, I mean that guy's all pro material. He's the reason they got 6 points on the board in the first period. It wasn't because of It definitely wasn't because of Drew Lock driving the team down the field. It's because Alexander Johnson caused a fumble recovery right there within, 7 yards of the red zone, or I'm sorry, of the end zone of the Chiefs. So Alexander Johnson has been an absolute diamond in the rough. So, there's really not that many holes on the defense. And there's not many holes on the offense except for the conductor, which I feel like we're about to go right back into the rotational, man. Sorry.
Okay, so when we talk about rebuilding, so clearly we know where your number one position lies that needs to change. But again,
inside
I don't
linebacker.
see. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. I feel right now our number one pick should be a stud defensive player, whether that's a cornerback or whether that's an inside linebacker. I think that should just be absolute one of the two, whether that's Sean Wade out of Ohio State, or whether we're going to want one of the top linebackers that are coming out in this year's draft, something. We have to get somebody that can just be an absolute game changer record in the middle of the field on defense, outside of Alexander Johnson. Now, it is mind-boggling that somebody that has made his name in the NFL on defense at making the best linebackers out there, and we only got one on the whole entire team. One.
You're not gonna fucking believe this, dude. As of right now, we would draft 12th in the NFL.
It's not good.
At 2, but that's still 12th, bro. With as bad as this team is, that's.
So there's motherfuckers out there that's even worse than us.
Horrible.
Kind of hard to believe, but it's kind of worse than us.
One of them being the Chargers, oddly enough.
Wow.
Well, I guess
that probably won't last long until we play them twice.
Correct. Exactly. So, so out of those handful of teams in our vicinity, we beat one of them in the Patriots, who's right below us at 11. We've got the Chargers twice. That's number 10. We've got Carolina, who's above us at 13. We still got them on the board. And then Vegas at 15, and we've got them twice. So, yeah, this should be fun.
Okay, so I brought up some interesting drafts because I was kind of scrolling through SpotTrack, and they throw up noticeable trade options. Okay, so we mentioned Miles Jack. Okay, Miles Jack can be a great trade option for the Denver
That was
Broncos.
in the last segment. Anybody that listened to our last segment, that's where we brought up Miles Jack. I think that's a perfect trade for the Broncos. I think that'll be a game changer. Okay,
so are you willing to trade draft capital, or are you willing to trade somebody?
I'm willing to trade Drew Lock right now. How about that?
Hell no.
How about that?
Hell no.
How about we go ahead and put Mark Ripien's nephew in and send Drew Lock over to Jacksonville where he can squander there for a little while, and we bring Miles Jack over and draft a quarterback.
I'm willing to give up a third for Miles Jack.
I'm willing to give up a third and Drew Lock.
Third and Drew Lock. Okay, so let me throw out another one for you. Okay, Stephon Gilmore.
No, you can have him. No.
You can have him? Why? Why would you not want him?
Dude, he's old, bro. He's got maybe another
30.
He's a cornerback at 30 years old. We just got rid of a 32-year-old cornerback.
That wasn't playing good.
Yeah, Stephon Gilmore ain't playing great either. That team stinks.
I think that's a little bit more of just everything that's going on with the Patriots organization. Not so much that, he's just not good. Because I think he's still a viable option at cornerback.
Okay.
Do you want to roll with Bryce Callahan, or do you want to possibly trade for Stephon Gilmore?
So I'll feed the beast. What do you trade for Stephon Gilmore?
What would I trade for him? Second.
Okay. You think that he's going to be that crucial to changing our defense that you would give up a second-round pick this year for him? We're at 2-4 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you're willing to give up next year's draft capital to assume that Stephon Gilmore is going to turn this team around?
Not that he's going to turn the team around, is he makes us competitive. Again, what do you have at cornerback? What do you have?
We got plenty that's fine.
Is anybody, dude? Is anybody on in our cornerbacking group is outside of OJ Mudia? Outside of him, who's doing anything? Who's doing what?
And Callahan's been fine in the slot, dude. I mean, you're really discrediting the guy. He's played
so we're saying
fine.
He's been fine. He's been fine. That's all I'm hearing. He's been fine.
Right. Yeah. Look, dude. I don't think
that we paying that guy. He's just fine.
Look, I don't give a shit about our cornerbacks. I'm not going to lie to you. There's no part of me watching this game that's sitting there going, man, you know what? If we had one cornerback, this entire dynamic would change right now. And all of a sudden, this offense would start driving that football 90 yards that direction and putting into that one little spot where they give us points on the board. That one cornerback is going to –
They can flip a field position for us. You say that you don't care about the cornerbacking core. But, dude, our team – our defense has been built on a no-fly zone.
No, I said I don't care about changing this core. This core is fine to me. All right, they're not like groundbreaking it by any means, but at the same time, they're still a good core, dude. Are they getting interceptions? No, not really, not a high point. But at the same time, they're maintaining receivers. They're keeping outside edges, so the run game hasn't really been substantial on them. But the difference is you can't sit there and have one side of the ball play the entire time and expect them to do something. Like I mean, come on, David. In your heart of hearts, all right. If the offense keeps getting 3 and outs, how are you going to win a game? They won the game last week against the Patriots. The defense won the game last week against the Patriots.
So you're talking about our defense going up again. You're talking about the Patriots, what the Patriots actually is, and you're talking about the Jets. That's the only teams that our defense has even looked remotely good against. Other than
they looked fine against Tennessee. And actually, they looked good against Tennessee, and they looked fine against Pittsburgh. Dude, they had Jeff Driscoll in that game. He was in the game. They were keeping that team in the game. Jeff Driscoll wasn't driving the football. He had a couple of drives, and that was it. Every game that we have seen this season, bro, has been in lieu of the defense, not in spite of. It has been in spite of the offense and in lieu of the defense. What
I'm saying is this. Regardless, and dude, we've even seen this before. We've seen this 2015 back when Peyton Manning was kind of on the downslope, and he 3 and outs, interception. What did our defense do? They
played historically well to win football games because the offense was that bad.
You're missing what I'm saying. You're missing what I'm saying. Regardless if the offense goes 3 and out, dude, your defense should still be able to keep you in a game. Your defense should still be able to fight to keep you in the game to where you can come out and still make something happen. Something happened. Dude, even got so bad today that Bradley Chubb was going off on everybody on the damn sideline because of how bad they just giving up everything.
Yeah, I don't
think our defense, honestly, I don't think our defense is really that good. I mean, they're okay, but we're really about to see how good they are or how bad they're about to be when we start going up against the Raiders, when we start going up against the Chargers. I mean, because the Chargers honestly, I think they're a better team than us. So we'll really see how good they are or how good they're not here real soon.
So let me ask you this. If you were to look at the Dallas Cowboys right now, what would you say is the biggest problem that they have on that team?
Coaching.
Huh?
Coaching.
No, so I'm talking about when they're in the game, the offense is putting up 40 points, and the defense is still losing the team's still losing because the other team's putting up 50 points. Who's at fault with that? That's the defense, right? So what happens in a game where the offense puts up jack and shit, and the defense is only allowing maybe 15, 20 points.
Well, I'm not saying that the defense can keep you in the whole entire game because, again, I've discussed this before. A defense should never play 70% of the game, but at the same time, you mean to tell me for a half of football, we can't. I mean, you can't stop. I mean, you can't stop somebody for a half of football. And then when the other half come out, when you start to get in the third quarter, we keep going 3 and outs. I mean, damn, it's only so much that the defense can do. But we've seen our defense do this before in past years. But again, I'm not saying that they're gonna do it all game long, but at some point, again, the offense yes has its faults, right? Again, Drew Lock is overthrowing receivers. We had bad timing issues. The offensive line is letting a lot of pressure come through. We got some bad reads going on. I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on as well. But again, I don't think our defense is playing that well either.
So I agree that the defense isn't playing as well as they could be, but I think that's solely because of the offense. So let's go back. Let's take a look at that since you brought that up. So Tennessee Titans versus Denver Broncos. Titans scored 7 points in the first half, didn't score another point until the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Broncos scored 7 points in the first period, didn't score another 7 points till the fourth quarter. I'd say the defense did their job in that point in time. That's 4 quarters there where there was offensive ineptitude. So we've got the Steelers now.
Who was quarterback? Who was quarterback?
That was Locke at quarterback against the Titans.
Did he play the whole entire game? Because when did you like get hurt?
Second period against the Steelers.
Okay, second period against the Steelers. Okay.
So you look at second period against the Steelers. First period, I'll give you this. So Broncos scored nothing. Steelers got 7 points. Broncos got 3 points. Steelers got 10 points. That's when Locke went down and had that sack fumble right there in the red zone. So at that point in time, when Driscoll came into the game, they didn't allow any points in the third period. So even with Driscoll as a starting quarterback, they allowed no points. And they actually ended up getting a safety. And then they allowed 9 points in the fourth quarter. Buccaneers 10-13-5. That's against a pretty tough team. Broncos scored 10 points in the second period. That was it. The Jets. That was a wild game. I didn't really understand that. Brett Rippon threw 3 interceptions. That helped. That's generally not an easy one to overcome, but they did it. So Jets had 13 points in the first half. Broncos had 17. And then from that point in time, it was kind of an interesting one. 7 for the Broncos in the third period, 3 for the Jets, and then 13 for the Broncos and 12 for the Jets in the fourth period. So defense kind of had some gaps there in the fourth period when they needed to shut them down. So Patriots, the Broncos didn't score a touchdown. 2 field goals, no points.
I think it was all field goals in that game, yeah.
Yeah, so you had 2 field goals for 3 periods and then no points in the fourth, and the defense still shut them out, or only kept them to 12 points throughout the whole game. 3 in the second period, 9 in the fourth, which that stinks, but you can only do so much. So, yeah, dude, I think at this point in time, I honestly think the defense is just kind of tapping out, man. Like they're just fucking sick and tired of 3 seasons in a row now of having to carry the team. It was the same thing last year, man. The only thing that we're ever complaining about is the fact that the offense can't get down the damn field. And we're still back to the 2015 Broncos. And the defense is having to do everything because the offense is just garbage. It's just frustrating. So I agree with you. I don't know. Now, see, that's the other thing about it. It's predicated on draft position. So if you're at number 5, do you take Justin Fields or do you take Penei Sewell if he's already still on the board? Do you need an offensive lineman at that point? Is number 5 worthy of drafting an inside linebacker? I mean, there's a lot of factors in that too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
I think with the way the team is, I think you can go a lot of different directions. I think you can go a lot of different avenues. Again, me and you see differently on what the quarterback position is. So, of course, that right there determines what you're going to do with the overall, especially if you climb up that draft board. Let's say we get up to 6 or 7, right? Which, I mean, that's in all likelihood where we could end up with, given that, we played the Chargers twice, and, we played Carolina and different things like that. I mean, how far can we really creep up the board? So it just depends on where you want to go there. But also, again, when it comes to free agency, let's stop with this. Hey, I'm gonna wait to the eighth wave of free agency, and you gotta act early.
Agreed.
Go out there and make some splashes, get some ballers. Which honestly, a lot of the ballers don't want to come to Denver because we're not winning. We're not, like with the state of the franchise being what it is. Why would I want to waste my time going there when I can go somewhere else and that's more established?
Right.
That's a scenario as well.
Well, and that's another predicament it puts us into going into the next season, man. Is if there's a bunch of question marks and a bunch of holes on the team, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose the desirable landing spot of being in Denver, man. I mean, right off the bat, people are like, "Is that really a team that I want to go waste a couple of years at and get a big or spend a decent sized contract with and basically just squander a handful of years, or do I want to take a lesser contract somewhere else and actually be on a competitor?" So, which is weird that we're even saying this about Denver because, I mean, the team this year looks so
the team
promising.
Historically, and I would agree. I mean, going into the season, dude, I mean, we thought there was just no way that we can be as bad as we are. But with injuries and just them not getting it down, just, I can't say this for everybody, but I think the offseason really affected us, not being able to go against live bulls and have live reps. Now, that's not to say that for everybody because we all was in the same situation, but they particularly needed it. Because, again, it's October 25th and you're still having timing issues where you're overthrowing people, you're throwing behind people, you're not throwing the ball in the face mask or right in the chest of your running backs. You're throwing it to where they have to literally lead up and catch it. I mean, come on, Lock, dog, you can't do that. Again, I'm speaking as a former running back. Again, the coach used to always tell the quarterback, hit us right here in the helmet or you hit us right here in the chest. And if I got to jump to do that, all running backs aren't receivers.
So speaking of second round picks, I could say at this point in time, I will confidently say at this point in time that we need to address the running back position in the offseason. Would you agree?
Agreed.
So whether or not we have Philip Lindsay or whether or not they decide to cut Melvin Gordon due to this DUI that's impending, we're not passing judgment on any of that. But there are some really good prospects going right now. You've got the kid out of Alabama. I can't believe I forgot his name.
Najee Harris.
Yes, so you got Najee Harris. And then I would say, speaking of second-round picks, backpedaling on what I was just saying earlier, would you take a second-round flyer on ETN?
Ooh, from Clemson. Man, he's kind of like a do-it-all, man. Like, he's literally a guy that you can have on the field from first to third. So I would definitely take a flyer on that guy. Having someone like ETN and having what's old boy that's on the team now? The undrafted.
What team?
Broncos.
Are you talking about the kid that's on the practice squad that's injured?
Yeah. I mean, having somebody like him as a backup and having Phil Lindsay, I mean, I think that serves as well. I mean, honestly, because, again, ETN, he can be a first through third down running back.
I can't think of his damn name, too. It's going to drive me nuts. Give me 1 second here.
Fuck, I can't think of his name. Why can't I
No,
think of his name?
that's the most brutal part. I got it though. Give me 1 second. Bam, 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 bam. They don't have. Oh, he's on reserve as well. Bellamy,
Bellamy. There we go.
Levante, Bellamy.
Yeah, I mean, so honestly, I think there needs to be like an overhaul in the running back room. Again, Melvin Gordon, he kind of screwed himself to where I'm pretty sure him getting a DUI kind of null and voids something in his contract to where if we want to part ways, we can part ways. But then also you got Royce Freeman that you're not getting hardly any production from, so you can go ahead and cut bait with that guy, and then you're left with somewhere like
Yeah.
ETN, the guy from Alabama. You got Bellamy, and you still got Philip Lindsay. So I mean, like I think that's great. I have no problems with that whatsoever.
Yeah, I just want to give props to Dotson too, dude, because ever since he came in now, I mean, I feel like the offensive line has performed admirably. So
Yeah, so that's an interesting predicament that you got yourself into because you got Dotson that has played decent for what you got him for, but then you got Jawan James that's just going to. I mean, he comes back next year, so and you definitely can't cut him.
no,
I
yeah,
mean,
you're on
it's too much dead money.
you're on the ringer for that guy. Well, then not only that
Mm-hmm.
too, we going into next season with Bowles being an undrafted free agent as well. I mean, so there's the question mark as to whether or not he actually decides to stay, because I think they could franchise tag him. They
Again,
just
well,
well,
no, they haven't franchise tag him
no,
yet. So
yeah, they
no,
this
they
was
did
just
franchise. They declined it. Sorry,
yeah, because
they declined fifth year option.
right, yeah, declined 5th year. So yeah, so the only thing, so they can franchise tag him going into next year. This was the end of his rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I mean, I
I
don't
can
know,
foresee
dude.
something like that happening because I can't see them giving him a long term contract because there's still so many question marks. So I definitely can see them franchise tagging him and see, okay, how can you play one more year under Mike Munchak and under everything else that you're doing to get yourself ready and prepared to play. So that's an interesting one there. So that's something that we definitely have to keep a watch on. What do you still think the status is on Justin Simmons?
I don't know, dude. I mean, he's had ups and downs this season. Every time but the weird thing about every time he has like a miss, I like the bounce back factor that he has, dude. I really do dig that about it. There's a fact of instead of him just having really bad downs, like if he has a miss, then later on in the game he seems to bounce back with like an interception or something, or he'll have like a sack for loss, or a tackle for loss or something like that. So I don't know, buddy. I mean, what would you do in that regard?
You know, he's not going to take another franchise tag, that's for sure. But also, I just again paying him what he's asking for, dude. I just don't see it. I mean, I honestly don't. I don't see us giving him what he's actually asking for. I mean, even if you're talking 13, 14 mil a year, I just don't see any other way to make him happy. You know, some other team will. Some
Then he
other team
walks.
will pay for his. Yeah, then he walks, in which we've already said. I mean, I don't care if he walks or if he stays or not.
No, I'm in the
It's
same. But I don't exactly. I don't. He's not pressing to me. I'm not going to pay him top 3 safety money. It just ain't going to happen. So I
okay.
don't feel like he performed this year to the point of where I'm like, yeah, dude, this guy's a Jamal Adams that we got to have around here. So, dude,
Mm-hmm.
there's an option. How trade bait? What about trading him in the middle of this or before the end of trades, whatever the fuck?
Do it. I mean, you have nothing else to lose. So
Yeah.
trading Justin Simmons for draft capital. I mean, at this point, you kind of got to do what you have to do. I mean, there's some other people that need to be trade bait as well. I mean, fucking trade Justin Simmons. Trade him, get him out of there. I guarantee you can probably get a high second round pick, damn near even a first if you finesse somebody well enough.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I would do that right now. We already pretty much know the season's lost. He's going to be expensive coming into next year. I mean, he's in his 5th year right now. So Yeah, dude. I'd trade him. I mean that's an option for me. Like worst case scenario, second round pick. So I feel like our backed up safety, Trey Marshall's good enough. I'm not PJ Locks. He's been pretty solid too. So yeah, I mean I'd be okay with it.
Agreed.
Is there anybody else off the top of your head right now that you would trade before we cut this out? Is there anybody else off the top of your head right now that you could see as trade bait to give us some draft capital for next season?
That's tricky. That's gonna give us draft capital that's actually worth a shit.
DeMarcus Walker?
He's not gonna give you anything. I mean, he's not going to give you anything that's worth talking about. I mean, if you trade DeMarcus Walker, at best you're going to get 6. You know, you're going to get like a 6th-round pick for the guy. I would say Bryce Callahan. You know, is Bryce Callahan the way a 4 or something like that. I think the way his contract is set up is set up to after the second year, because he signed a 3-year deal. After the second year, you can get out with very little money.
Correct.
I mean, again, you're just offloading his contract by trading him.
Yeah, well, I mean, historically, he's going to be injured next year, so.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be injured. You bring in Ojemudia and you let him, you know, just kind of ride out the rest of the season. You know, you kind of see what you have in a young guy. I mean, they did the same thing with Yadam. You put him in there, you see what you got, and then Bryce Callahan, you could trade him, and at least get something of value, to where you get premium rounds picked for him.
I like it, dude. Good stuff, good content. Hope all you guys enjoyed it as well. What do you think they should do from here, bro?
I think y'all should like, share, and subscribe. Hey, man, we got a lot more things coming for you guys. We got some different kind of content that we're going to push out. And I just want to remind y'all, we're not just doing this shit to get out of our lane and to get into stuff that we have no idea what we're talking about. Everything that we put out for you guys is stuff that we're genuinely passionate about, that we care about. Just like the UFC, we're going to get into the drag racing and NASCAR. Thank you, Mike, for actually bringing that out. Again,
no, not NASCAR. I give a damn about NASCAR. No, I'm talking
about drag racing.
NHRA is going to be an individual segment where we're just going to shut up and listen, and we're going to let the better man discuss that subject, but at least give you guys something to listen to. For, like I said, our outreach is community wide. I don't know shit and shoved in about NASCAR, but this man knows a lot about NHRA. So,
yeah, which is good, because me and Mike can tell you right now, how many times do we sit up and watch 1320 and TRC videos? A lot.
It's been hours, like literally, dude. I spend more time watching those videos than I can ever figure accounting for masturbating to porn, dude. I have spent way more of my life watching people just running down the street at 200 miles an hour than I have ever cranked one out into a napkin or a sock.
Absolutely. Dude, is nothing better than watching people at the drag strip, watching people just do runs, just pulls on the freeway, just over and over and over.
In Mexico, of course. In Mexico.
In Mexico. Folks in Mexico. With your New York license plates in Mexico.
Or Indiana. Those are the great ones, too.
Or your Montana. Your Montana tags in Mexico. It's a long way from home, buddy.
Right. All right, guys. So that wraps up this episode. Obviously, there was a lot of glum. Nobody likes coming off of a loss, especially a brutal one like this. Positives, negatives. We covered a little bit of both. But either way, like we said before, we'll reiterate this again. We don't do this full time. Obviously, we just get content out to you whenever we can. This is not our game plan to do this full time. We just like having people to sit here and talk back and forth with about sports.
Shits and giggles.
Other stuff like that. So if you guys enjoy the content, again, like, share, subscribe right down below. We'll have a little bit of information. We'll have a Twitter feed as well as our contact for us. We're still in the process. I know it's kind of lengthy at this point trying to get an actual podcast going. We're in the process of finishing that up, though, too. So you guys should have that available to you guys looking like either Spotify, definitely going to be putting one out on iTunes. We've already got some potential, or we got some listeners that are waiting for us to get it out on there. And then we're going to look at a couple other outfits as well. That should be coming up soon. So without further ado, David,
Later.
have a good night. Have a good night, fine folks, and we'll catch you guys on the other side.